Hello everybody, this is Havoc. Welcome to a multiplayer battle. This one, I was just decided to hop on and there was a 3v3 open, so I thought that'd be really fun. So today we are going to go through my first, I guess technically, yeah, pretty much like my very first multiplayer battle in a sense. I played a couple, but I wouldn't really count them. Anyways, let's get right on into it. So today we are playing a 3v3. I am playing as the Empire. I have my two allies, one playing as Bretonnia, and then one playing as the Greenskins. Together we all going to fight an army of Dwarves, Empire factions, and some Chaos Warriors. So let me break down what my army setup was. Essentially, I had oscillating, I guess you could say it, of great swords, halberdiers. So I had 3 units of each. So I made 1 division with 2 units of great swords and halberdiers, 1 division with 2 units of halberdiers, and 1 great swords. Supporting them, 6 sets of handgunners. I really love the handgunners in the Empire faction. They really do a lot of damage, and there's a lot of them. And there's 90 guys per unit, so very much helps. And then supporting me on the flank, I have 2 units of Demigryph Knights. Now the Bretonians, they brought an odd setup, but it actually ended up, working for them pretty well. Obviously behind me, we have 2 units of Pegasus Knights. In their rear, they have 3 Knights of the Realm. We were talking before, and he was like, yeah, I didn't really do well as Bretonnia until I stopped using the Grail Knights because they're so expensive. So he could get 3 units of Grail Knights, or of Knights of the Realm in, instead of just 2 of the Grail Knights, and they're actually pretty good. He has the Paladin Melee Specialist Hero with him. He has, of course, Leon Kerr. Is that Leon Kerr? Whatever his name is, riding on an epic-looking Demigryph. In front, he has a field trebuchet. He has some peasant bowmen, and then in the back, he has a couple of he has spearmen at arms. He has men-at-arms, pole arms, and then he has 2 units of pole arms. So he isn't necessarily the best person to be holding the center, especially against these the Empire people we're playing against, since they were pretty melee heavy, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And then on our right flank we have the Greenskins, who has fielded 3 units of Black Orcs. He's got a Night Goblin Shaman. He's got, I believe this is Grimgore Ironhide, I believe so. And in the front he's got some Orc Boys. Hiding over here he's got some Night Goblin Archers, or Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, sorry. Of course, he can't see what the enemy has over there. And then we have some Night Goblin Archer Fanatics, definitely over there. Their poison attack, arrow attacks do pretty good. Orc Boys, 2 units of Shock Cav. And then he has a Doom Diver Catapult. Now over here, by the way, there will be a card that happened like way back. You'll see it. Obviously, you've seen it. That'll go straight to the battle. So I'll make sure I'll put that up. Over here, the Empire faction, they have 3 units of Empire Knights over here on their left flank, and then they fielded a whole bunch of infantry. As I learned fighting Rambler, Spearmen with shields, they're just not worth it, man. You're better off having a few very high tier units, and then maybe some ranged or some heavy duty units, rather than fielding some spearmen with shields or any of those lower tiers, especially in multiplayer. I've never really seen it work from the battles that I've watched. And then of course he has Karl Franz riding on his epic Demigryph. Or, yeah, it's not a Demigryph. It's a Griff, whatever it is. It's really early in the morning. And then we have some, they are flanked, I guess not flanked, they are supported in the back by the Dwarf units, who have quite a few. They have, 2 flame cannons, 2 cannons, and then they have a missile specialist. As I found out playing with Warrior of Sparta, the Master Engineer, his only perk is increasing accuracy and maybe reload time. So the Master Engineer is definitely not worth investing in. There's runesmiths and other guys that you would much rather use. And yeah. So anyways, he's got, I don't even think he has... No, is that Thorgrim? I guess it would be. He's just not on his nice little podium. He has quite a few miners with blasting charges. I've heard mixed, conflicting strategies on using them. I'm not really sure when and where they work, but for me, again, I would rather have some Thunderers. I would rather have Thunderers in the back supporting him rather than that. And then he has 2 units of Hammers, some Iron Breakers, so we'll see how that goes. And then the Chaos faction, who I fight against immediately, has a pretty decent build. He has 4 units of Chaos Warriors. As his main infantry, he's got 2 units of Marauders with throwing axes. Personally, I don't like the throwing axes because they don't have as good of range as the regular Chaos or Marauding Horsemen. So I tend to shy away from that. Oh, and then, by the way, they got a Bright Wizard, too, the Empire faction. Just thought I'd note that. And then he has Chaos Warriors, which are good. I mean, those are pretty good units. They're armored and shielded. Chosen with halberds. This is something that I don't like necessarily. The Chosen aren't that great, in my opinion. They have I guess they had high armor. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of the Berserker guys. Never mind. The Chosen are actually pretty good, so never mind about that. And then he has some Chaos Spawn, and then some Dragon Ogres, and then he, of course, is playing as Kolek Suneater. And he is a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and we will see how that works. So, as you can see, this battle will begin. Let's go ahead and start playing immediately. I noticed the high ground here. It's what I was wanting to take. So I moved all of my units over here. All of my melee. This guy, I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention or if he just thought it didn't matter, but he doesn't move his units. He could have gotten there before I did, and then their Bright Wizard tried attacking me, and it didn't work that well. But, so yeah, all of a sudden he's like, oh, I guess we're playing. By that time, I was already had a high enough advantage, I was close enough advantage, that I moved my melee troops to make a slight little wedge, reverse wedge, and then they're going to be supported by those handgunners for sure. Across the board, you can see that he's already, our greenskin dude, has already engaged the Empire Knights. They're not going to do a whole lot of damage against him, but that's alright. The Empire faction, of course, moves in, and what you didn't see there was this field trebuchet got wrecked hardcore right off the bat between those cannons and flame cannons. So I have my, this guy has some mounted yeoman archers. I forgot to mention that. And so I'm going to line my gunners up there, and then he put his marauders there. So I just put 2 units to kind of distract him, and then my ally took his Knights of the Realm and caught those guys pretty decently unawares. And so here we go. I mean, unawares, freaking pirate or something. So I'm using Balthazar Gelt. He has a hold the line buff. That's something that I like using. I prefer to use Balthazar Gelt over Call Franz because he has some good buffs to hold the line and to support your troops while also being able to use magic. So I had an extra unit of great swords. I'm going to flank them over here, and we're actually going to continue firing into these Chaos Warriors. I'm going to move my Knights around to see if I can't catch them in the back here, not knowing that these Chosen with halberds are going to come up. So as you can see, he's already been engaged all the way up the front. He's going to have a hard time because they have just a mass of melee troops more than my Bretonnian allies do. And over here, those Empire Knights engaged against the Black Hordes. That was not a smart idea in the least. I mean, it just really was not a smart move. Alright, so I saw those Chosen with halberds, and I decided to move those great swords up in to fight them. They're kind of going to go back and forth on who's winning. No one really wins, no one really loses for a while. And I pull my Demigryphs in for a side charge. And as you can see, the Knights of the Realm got routed by Kolek Suneater. He's a pretty hardcore melee dude, so it's going to be pretty hard to take him down. Now the Dwarves' biggest fault in this battle was only having these and instead of ranged, so they're not going to be able to engage these guys for a while because they're going to be severely outmatched. Now over here, I'm talking really fast. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I usually don't. So you can see these Chaos Marauders, or Marauding Horsemen. I don't care about them necessarily, but I do devote a couple of units to fire a volley. That volley will make them rout a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus fire on Kolek with those 2, because that's definitely a really good solution. If I can take him down, I know the Chaos guys will rout pretty soon afterwards. You can see they're pretty much already routing for the most part, and I'm holding the line quite well. I'm constantly using Balthazar Gelt's buffs to hold the line, as well as a couple of things to really take down their morale and their armor. And actually, I'm going to use, if I haven't already, I've used the buff to make Kolek Sun Eater have minus 15 armor. That minus 15 armor is really going to limit his defense, and I focus all of my handgunners on taking him out, and that's what we're going to do there for now. As you can see, the Bretonnian faction, they're kind of getting raped just a little bit. I mean, it depends. I mean, they're doing good and they're not. They're getting support from their allies, the Greenskin allies, which is really good. I can't get any support because these Chaos Warriors, I can't give any support because these warriors are soaking up all of my guys. But as you can see, I'm routing Kolek Sun Eater, and eventually he will die from the constant volley fire. But those Black Orcs, they really charged in. They were able to take out those miners with blasting charges. That gives us a very, very heavy advantage. This is surprising. I've never really seen a Greenskin army take out a Dwarf army so quickly and so effectively, which is especially considering he said he hadn't really played as them very much, and he wasn't very comfortable that he would win the battle. So yeah, all of these guys on the left side, they've all routed, so I'm taking out the Dragon Ogres, I'm taking out the Chaos Spawn, and I'm going to focus fire on this guy. He's going to get away, so instead of pursuing him with just my handgunners, I'm actually going to throw my Demigryph Knights at him, and that, I think, is actually what will defeat him. On the right flank, again, the Greenskins, they've completely, not completely, but they've pretty much completely taken out a majority of the Dwarf army. He's bringing the Iron Breakers back, and he's going to try and take out what he can with his cannons. But again, that Master Engineer, it's not going to do much. He's exhausted, he's obstructed, and it's just not going to work out very well. Now the Bretonnians, they are getting wrecked a little bit. He's able to save himself with his Peasant Archers, and his Knights of the Realm actually do quite a bit of damage, but he's simply not going to win with his current stance, with his current units. Alright, so Kolek is dead. See his dead body right there. Those guys I'm not concerned about. I'm actually going to throw my handgunners after I take out these marauding horsemen. Throw my handgunners at them and they will rout. But I see a golden opportunity right here. And they're going to see that too at the same time, but they're not going to be able to do much about it. And so, boom. Nice, good hammer and anvil into the back of these low-tier swordsmen and spearmen with shields. They are going to rout instantly, and that's going to cause a mass rout. It's just dominoes falling. It's just not going good. And so, as you can see, we're pursuing... I do believe this is Thorgrim. Yep, we're pursuing him, taking him down. The only thing really that's left to do is to take out these Iron Breakers and to take out the cannons. So I sort of started to go after the Iron Breakers, but I decided going after the cannons is going to be more beneficial. And I'm going to move my troops along. Those guys have officially routed, so there's no use in pursuing them anymore. And basically it's just a mop-up at this point in time. There's really not a whole lot the enemy can do. I think by this point, 2 of the guys had already left, so there really wasn't a lot to do. And I was able to throw my Demigryphs at these guys, and these guys will eventually rout. Look at that. It's hard to fight Demigryphs, even as epic dwarves, and so they are routing. That will be the end of the battle. We will end that replay and just do an overview. Overall, I think, we did the best. I only lost 357 troops. Now, the Chaos, I feel the Chaos can break pretty easily. I mean, they really didn't get hardly any kills. Their biggest kills were the Chosen with halberds, and that's just up against, I think, a unit of greatswords. So, I mean, we didn't do too well either. The greatswords did better. The handgunners are what really saved my butt in the beginning because they were able to take out Kolek Sun Eater. And then, of course, Demigryph Knights, they're going to wreck all day. I like having Demigryph Knights. Even though they're expensive and even though their unit size is small, they have so much power, it's really kind of crazy. I recommend using Balthazar Gelt as the Empire simply because he has 2 main buffs. He has a buff that helps himself in melee battle, and then he has a buff of Hold the Line, which gives you a lot of leadership and a larger charge defense bonus for your own troops. So I recommend him over Karl Franz simply for the fact that he's able to use magic and he's also able to buff your troops, but that's just a personal for me. Otherwise, you know, these guys did really good. His Greenskin army did really good because this guy just didn't bring the right troops. That's plain and simple. I mean, look, miners with blasting charges, they got 34 kills out of all of those guys, so that's not really worth it to me. Those black orcs really tore up some people, and those doom divers. The doom diver catapults, I feel, are some of the best artillery in the game, hands down. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know why they're so much better. I mean, they're just goblins, but it works. It works very well. And so, if you're using the greenskins, a doom diver catapult, it's definitely not something that you don't want to ignore. But I mean, look, even their flame cannons over here didn't do much. Their cannons did all right. And another thing I recommend, I don't really see the point in ranking up artillery. If you guys have a reason, let me know, and I'll certainly, you know, retract that and analyze it myself. But for me, it doesn't really seem that worth it. And again, over here, spearmen with shields, they're not going to get a whole lot done. They're at least... the way that I play, I use, and this could be bad if I ever play anyone that watches these videos, I use my melee troops as a defense. I use my melee troops as a defense. I support, they support my handgunners. My infantry is not my priority. My ranged and my cab, that's what I love using. So that's definitely, I feel, a good strategy for the Empire, is to use these guys simply to hold the line against your... If you can hold the line and your handgunners can just pound on them, you're going to win almost guaranteed every single time, and you can use your cav to outmaneuver them and hammer and anvil them, in which case your melee becomes, you know, the offensive in that case. Well, I guess technically still the defensive because it's the anvil. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this this replay. I'm going to start trying to do these more often. I am starting to play with some other people. It will get better, I promise, and we're going to upload more battles. I hope you enjoyed my strategy and how I laid it all out. If you feel like I talked too fast or if I didn't explain much, let me know. I can slow things down if you need me to, and really try to work on those on my commentary, because I don't do a whole lot of battle replays. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, I hit a screenshot real quick because I saw something. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. Leave any comments or suggestions. Thumbs up, please. And share it. I really want to start getting my content pushed out there with the things that I do. And so, yeah, that'll be it, guys. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!